What do you think stylistically? How does it come together?
I think it's a great matchup. I think it's definitely an exciting one that people want to see. So I'm looking forward to the challenge.
And let's get your thoughts to think outside of your fight a little bit. Who do you got in the finale? Who do you think's taking home the title?
I got to go for my friend from Cali, Carla. I mean, she's a friend and a training partner outside of the show, and I really want that belt to come back to Cali.
It sounds like on Saturday night there's already a #1 contender fight. I mean, how do you feel like your career should progress from here? Because obviously it's a brand new weight class. Do you feel like you should be considered a #1 contender because you're in the semifinals? Do you feel like you might have to win a few fights? What do you think?
I'm really not sure what they have planned. I know that they'll establish the rankings after the finale on Friday and kind of go from there. I think it's great that they're already working on building the weight class outside of the show, so it's not just about the girls on the show, and there's a lot of depth to this weight class, so I think there's going to be a lot of really exciting matchups.
How do you look at the girls that didn't go to the show? I mean, obviously, Paige couldn't do it. There were reasons some people couldn't, but you look at them like, why, they shouldn't get that respect. They had, they didn't have to go through what we went through. They get to go right to the UFC. I mean, is there any jealousy or frustration?
I mean, I'm exactly where I'm meant to be. I'm happy with how I am and where I'm at, and I really can't look at anybody else and judge them or wish this and that, because it's not the reality of it. So I'm happy where I am.
Outside of your fight, again, it's a big fight weekend. There's another card on Saturday night. Junior Dos Santos, Steve Miocic, main event there. Who do you got in that fight? That easy. Mm-hmm. No problem. Yep. Perfect. And one other question I wanted to get from you. This past weekend, we saw CM Punk, a professional wrestler, come into the organization. What do you think? Are you familiar with him at all? And do you think he has a chance to be successful in the UFC?
I'm familiar with him, but just because he has a very, well-known, established name in pro wrestling. But I mean, I think it's really exciting. I think, the UFC is kind of broadening their perspective, and I think it's great to have, somebody from that discipline in it, and I'd love to see what he can do.
Thank you.
How much harder is the whole Ultimate Fighter experience compared to just having a regular fight and a regular weigh-in and that whole thing?
For me personally, it was extremely difficult. I mean, I tried to mentally prepare myself to go into it and know what was expected, but it was really different than anything I've ever done. And I think it was definitely the hardest kind of training camp that I've ever had to go through. And afterwards, everything just seems a little bit easier and a little bit more relaxed. You don't hold on to as many of the superstitions and all of the controls that you try and keep during a training camp. You just kind of have to let everything go and do it.
You obviously did really well on the show, but did you feel like you were at your best in those fights? Like, if you had a regular training camp at home, would you have done better, you think?
I did the best that I could with my circumstances. I definitely know that I can do a lot better than what I showed, but I'm proud of myself for my accomplishment. It was really hard for me being in that house and not having any alone time and being away from all the comforts of home, but it was difficult for everyone. I think some people did a little bit better than they would have had they had a regular training camp, and I think some people did a little bit under what they would have performed inside the house. So it's all relative, and I'm proud of myself for what I did, but I know I can always do better.
You kind of stayed away from all the drama and all the stuff that was going on.
Oh my gosh, I had to. I think that a lot of people just got really wrapped up into what was going on, and to kind of have to keep reliving it after it's been filmed with each week on Wednesday when it airs, it's been a little bit stressful, and I can't wait to kind of get past it.
For sure. I know John asked you this before, but you and Randa are both semifinalists, and you fight on Friday. I know that you don't want to tell the UFC what to do, but does that feel a little bit like it could be a #1 contender fight, or it should be a #1 contender fight, because you did really well against Carla, and you were right there in that fight?
I definitely think that it'll establish the rankings after Friday, and
right.
We'll see where I'm at. But I definitely know that I'm a contender for the title. It may take me a couple fights. I'm not really sure what they have in mind, but I know I'm right up there.
Cool.
Talking about being at the house, were there anything that didn't show on the TV that was interesting that you think people would like to know about?
I think there were a lot of things that didn't air. I mean, you only have, 11, 12 episodes, and it was 7 weeks of filming. So I think that what didn't get shown was the fun that we had and the lack of drama that we actually had. Everything was kind of magnified and intensified surrounding the drama. But, we had a good time, and it wasn't all about drama, and I kind of wish that had been shown a lot more.
Do you think everybody was portrayed in how it really was on TV?
No, I mean, everything was kind of intensified and magnified. I mean, we all had our moments, and there were little, scuffs here and there with the drama, but for the most part, those things died down.